Many travelers already think they have a pretty decent travel setup, and to be honest, they're probably right. Maybe you've already upgraded your backpack, found a good carry-on, bought a few packing cubes, or spent the last few years slowly improving your gear. But I've noticed something interesting after testing hundreds of travel products. The biggest upgrades usually don't come from replacing your entire setup. They come from finding those small products that solve annoying problems you deal with over and over again while traveling. So hey, Johannes from Gear Up Your Life here, and today I'll share 12 genius travel gadgets that help me slowly build what I would consider my dream travel setup. So let's get into it. Our first genius product that might upgrade your travel setup is this Bellroy Lite mini sling bag. And with only 4 liters of capacity, it's definitely a pretty small sling bag, which the name of course already suggests. But what immediately stood out to me is how incredibly lightweight it is. At only around 180 grams, it genuinely feels almost weightless when you're carrying it. And even after using it for hours at airports or while exploring a city, it's barely noticeable. On top of that, you get the usual Bellroy quality, YKK AquaGuard zippers, lightweight ripstop fabric, and a 6-year warranty, which is always nice to see. Organization is also simple but effective. You get a front compartment with a key leash, while the main compartment includes a small hidden pocket that's perfect for AirPods, plus a mesh pocket for everything else. Now, the reason I think this sling is such a genius upgrade isn't because it has the most features or the most space. It's because of the convenience. It's perfect for carrying your everyday essentials, great for flights, and I've even seen travelers use it almost like a foldable day pack by laying it flat inside their luggage and only using it once they arrive at their destination. But the biggest thing for me is simply the comfort. For whatever reason, it just feels better to wear than most sling bags I've tested over the years, which is exactly why it earned a permanent place in my setup. Our second genius gadget are actually these 2 power banks from Iniu. On one side we have the pretty famous P50, which is an incredibly small everyday power bank, and on the other side we have the even smaller P81, which is designed to be with you literally all the time. Let's start with the P50. As you can probably already see in the video, this thing is incredibly small. It's roughly the size of a pair of AirPods Pro or even a Lemon, but despite that, it still packs a 10,000 mAh battery and up to 45 watt fast charging. It also weighs only around 160 grams, comes with a built-in USB-C cable that doubles as a carrying strap, has a small display that shows exactly how much battery is left, and can even charge up to 3 devices at the same time. And that's exactly why I think it's such a genius addition to almost any travel setup, because unlike many power banks, this is one you'll actually carry with you every day. It fits into almost any sling bag, jacket pocket, or backpack without taking up noticeable space. And for under $35, I genuinely think it's hard to go wrong. Now on the other hand, we have the even smaller P81. And this one solves a completely different problem. Instead of being your main power bank, it's the one you keep with you all the time. It's compact enough to clip onto your keys, throw into a pocket, or simply leave inside your sling bag without even noticing it's there. Despite its tiny size, it can still quickly top up your phone, iPad, or even your Apple Watch whenever you need just a little extra battery to get through the rest of the day. Personally, I love products like this because they're always with you and actually can save your day. Instead of carrying a large power bank everywhere, you always have a small backup ready whenever you unexpectedly need it. And at well under $25, I think it's a really solid little travel gadget to have. And thanks again to Iniu for sponsoring this portion of the video. But as many longtime viewers already know, I've been using Iniu power banks for years now and have recommended their products in quite a few videos long before this sponsorship. So our third genius product is this Hydro Flask coffee mug. And don't skip this one just because it's a coffee mug, because it genuinely changed the way I travel with coffee. You see, I already own both the Owala FreeSip and the Evervessel Mini, and I love them for different reasons. The Evervessel is compact and simple, while the Owala is fantastic for keeping water cold. But for coffee, neither one was really perfect. And that's where this Hydro Flask comes in, because it basically combines everything I was looking for. It's compact, lightweight, completely leak-proof, easy to carry thanks to the flexible handle, and it keeps coffee hot for an incredibly long time. I filled it in the morning and still had warm coffee hours later on the beach. The Flex Sip lid is also really well designed because you simply twist it open and drink from it almost like a normal coffee cup while still having the security of a sealed bottle when it's closed. It's easy to clean, durable, and after using it for a while, I found myself reaching for it almost every single day. And the best part is that it doesn't just work for coffee, it also keeps cold drinks cold for hours, which means I can use it for both coffee and water without carrying multiple bottles. So if I could only bring one bottle while traveling, this would probably be the one I'd choose. Next up is this wireless keyboard from Ugreen, and I think this is one of those genius upgrades that only makes sense once you've actually used it. Because there are so many situations while traveling where I don't want to bring my MacBook with me, but still want to answer emails, write my newsletter, plan a trip, or get a little bit of work done. And that's exactly where this keyboard comes in. It connects via Bluetooth within seconds, works with phones, tablets, and laptops, and despite costing only around $10, it feels surprisingly solid. What makes it such a great addition to a travel setup is that it allows me to turn my phone into a surprisingly capable workstation without carrying a full laptop. It's lightweight, compact, and one of those products products that I don't use every day, but whenever I do need it, I'm always glad I packed it. Our next product goes into a very similar direction, but to be honest, I've probably used it even more than the keyboard this summer, a portable fan. This one here is from Life, and I've been extremely happy with it. When folded down, it slips neatly into its own little housing, making it easy to throw into a backpack, sling bag, or carry on without taking up much space. And once you open it up, it's a pretty simple product. You get 3 different fan speeds depending on how much airflow you want, the battery lasts surprisingly long, and it's easy to recharge whenever needed. It even comes with a small flashlight built into the bottom, which isn't the main reason to buy it, but it's definitely a nice extra feature to have. Now, the reason I think a portable fan is such a genius addition to a travel setup is simple. If you've ever been stuck in a hot airport, a crowded bus, a train station, a beach destination, or a hotel room with weak air conditioning, you already know how uncomfortable that can be. And while this obviously won't replace proper air conditioning, it's one of those small products that can make those situations noticeably more comfortable. It's simple, affordable, and one of those gadgets that you don't think you need until the first really hot travel day. Next up is this Anker Nano Universal Travel Adapter, and I genuinely think that a universal travel adapter is one of the smartest travel purchases you can make in general, because of course, instead of buying different adapters for different countries, you simply bring one product that works almost everywhere in the world. That alone saves space, money, and a lot of unnecessary hassle. The reason this specific adapter made the list is because it solves one of the biggest problems I have with most universal travel adapters. They're usually bulky. Compared to adapters like the Nomax or some of the other models I've used over the years, the Anker Nano is noticeably smaller, thinner, and easier to fit into a tech pouch, sling bag, or backpack. And that's exactly why I think it's such a genius upgrade to a travel setup, because it takes a product that most travelers already need and simply makes it better. On top of that, it works in most countries around the world, comes with multiple USB ports, supports fast charging, and usually costs around $25. So if you're still carrying separate adapters or using one of those huge universal adapters, this is one of those small upgrades that you'll probably appreciate on every single trip. Next up is this Packo Foldable Duffel Bag, and I think this solves one of the most common travel problems that people don't think about until it's already too late, because most trips start with enough space in your luggage. The problem is usually the trip back home. Maybe you bought souvenirs, new clothes, snacks, gifts for friends and family, or simply accumulated more stuff than expected, and that's exactly where this bag comes in. When folded down, it takes up almost no space in your luggage, but once opened up, you suddenly have a full 45-liter duffel bag ready to use. It also comes with surprisingly good YKK zippers, feels much more durable than you would expect for a packable bag, and costs only around $20. Now, unlike something like a foldable day pack, this isn't a bag I would carry around every day while exploring a city. For me, it's much more of a backup plan. It's the bag I bring when I know there's a chance I'll need extra space later, and that's exactly why I think it's such a genius addition to a travel setup, because hopefully you'll never need it. But the moment you do, you'll be extremely happy you packed it. Now, something that has probably always been the definition of a genius travel gadget and is perfect for almost every type of traveler, a simple luggage tracker. And yes, the ones I use are these Ugreen trackers right here, and they've probably appeared in the last 4 videos in a row, and I'm sorry about that, but there's a reason I keep talking about them, because while losing your luggage isn't something that happens every trip, it's one of those problems where having a tracker instantly gives you a lot more peace of mind. For years I used tile trackers for my keys, luggage, and a few other things, but over the last few months I've mostly switched over to these Ugreen trackers. The biggest reason is that they work directly with Apple's Find My network, which means they benefit from the millions of Apple devices already out there. And if you're using Samsung, there are similar versions available that work with Samsung's SmartThings Find network as well. I personally bought this 4-pack, which usually costs around $30 total, so you're looking at roughly $7 to $8 per tracker. They also come with small stickers, which sounds like a tiny feature, but is actually really useful because you can immediately tell which tracker belongs to which item. And that's exactly why I think they're such a genius addition to a travel setup. Next up is the Rolling Square XL, and this one even replaced my hardly loved Anker 3-to-1 charging cable. And I also genuinely think this is one of the smartest travel tech products I've bought over the last few months. Because one of the most annoying things about traveling with tech is that you always seem to be missing the one cable you actually need. Maybe you need USB-C, maybe Lightning, maybe USB-A, or maybe you're trying to charge multiple devices while carrying 3 different cables around, and that's exactly what this solves. The Rolling Square XL is basically an all-in-one charging cable that combines USB-C, USB-A, Lightning, and even micro USB support into a single cable. It also supports up to 100 watts charging, which means I can use it for everything from my phone and earbuds all the way up to my laptop. And unlike many compact travel cables, this one is actually long enough to be practical in everyday use, which is one of the biggest reasons I prefer it over some of the smaller versions. Now, is it more expensive than a normal charging cable? Absolutely, but it's also one of those products that removes a surprising amount of clutter from a travel setup. Instead of carrying multiple cables and adapters, I can often get away with carrying just this one. Next up is the Turtle Travel Pillow, and I genuinely think this is one of the most genius travel products on this list simply because it approaches a very common travel problem completely differently. Because if you've ever used a traditional neck pillow on a flight, you've probably had the same experience I did. It looks comfortable, pillow, you put it around your neck, fall asleep for 20 minutes, and somehow still wake up with your head hanging forward and your neck hurting. The Turtle takes a completely different approach. Instead of trying to be a pillow, it acts more like a support system for your neck, helping keep your head in a much more natural position while sleeping. Now, I'll be honest, it definitely looks a little weird at first, and with a price of around $50 to $60, it's also significantly more expensive than most travel pillows out there, which is something you absolutely have to consider. But after using it on countless flights, I genuinely think it's one of the few travel products that actually solved a problem I thought was just part of flying. It's lightweight, packs down relatively small, and most importantly, it gives me much better support than almost every traditional neck pillow I've tried. Next up is the Matador Flatpak soap bar case, and I know this sounds like one of the most boring products on this list, because at the end of the day, it's literally a case for a bar of soap. But if you've ever traveled with solid soap before, you probably already know the problem. You use it in the morning, it's still wet, and now you somehow have to put it back into your backpack without making a mess, and that's exactly what this solves the best. The Flatpak is designed to let the soap dry through the material while still keeping the moisture contained, which means you don't have to carry around a bulky plastic soap container or a Ziploc bag. It's lightweight, takes up almost no space, and works surprisingly well. And that's exactly why I think it's such a great addition to a travel setup. The build quality is excellent, the roll-top closure is simple and secure, and the material is waterproof from the outside, so you don't have to worry about moisture getting onto the rest of your gear. And at around $14, it's not the cheapest soap case out there. Considering how well it's made and how long it lasts, I think it's absolutely worth it. And so last but not least, we have one of my favorite travel products, this ESR 3-in-1 charging stand. And I genuinely think this is a travel gadget that can make a travel setup feel much cleaner and more organized. Because if you're traveling with an iPhone, AirPods, and an Apple Watch, you usually end up carrying multiple chargers, multiple cables, and somehow still searching for the right one at the end of the day. This solves that problem completely. You simply unfold it, plug in a single USB-C cable, and suddenly you have one charging station for all three devices. What I particularly like is that it folds down surprisingly small, making it easy to fit into a tech pouch or backpack while still being large enough to use comfortably on a hotel nightstand desk or Airbnb workspace. The magnets are strong. You can use your phone in both portrait and landscape mode while charging, and the Apple Watch charger can even be removed if you want to use it separately. Now, is this something every traveler absolutely needs? Probably not. But if you're someone who regularly travels with multiple Apple devices and could even see yourself using it at home, I genuinely find it incredibly useful. But don't go anywhere just yet, because as always, I still have 4 bonus gadgets coming up that might upgrade your travel setup even further, but just missed out on making the main list. But real quick before we get into the bonus gadgets, if you're always looking for new ways to improve your travel setup, pack smarter, and discover travel gear that actually solves real problems, you might want to check out my free newsletter. Inside, you'll get access to the Gear Vault bundle with over 75 travel products I've personally tested, 8 complete packing guides, and plenty of practical travel tips designed to help you travel more comfortably and avoid wasting money on gear you don't actually need. You'll also be joining a community of more than 2,500 travelers already inside. It's completely free through the first link in the description. But now, let's get into the bonus gadgets. So our first bonus gadget is these Flancini light blocking stickers, and this is probably one of the cheapest products in my entire travel setup. They're basically small reusable stickers designed to cover annoying lights from TVs, smoke detectors, air conditioners, chargers, and all those other random devices that somehow light up an entire hotel room at night. And while it sounds like a tiny problem, if you're sensitive to light while sleeping, it can make a surprisingly big difference. It's one of those products I barely think about anymore, but I'm always happy to have with me. Our next bonus gadget are the Loop earplugs, and while spending around $20 on earplugs sounds a little crazy at first, I genuinely think they're one of the smartest comfort upgrades for travel, because whether it's a noisy hotel room, a long flight, a train ride, or simply trying to get some sleep while other people are still awake, they solve a problem that almost every traveler eventually runs into. They come with a small carrying case, different ear tip sizes, feel noticeably more premium than cheap foam earplugs, and most importantly, they're reusable. Our final 2 bonus gadgets are this Ugreen HDMI cable and the Tortuga Foldable Day Pack. Now the HDMI cable might seem like a strange recommendation at first, but if you've ever wanted to watch Netflix, YouTube, sports, or a movie on a hotel TV while traveling, you'll probably understand why I carry one. It's one of those products I don't use every trip, but when I do need it, I'm incredibly glad I packed it. And finally, the Tortuga Foldable Day Pack. This is one of the lightest backpacks I've ever used, yet it still gives you a full day pack whenever you need one. Whether it's a beach day, a short hike, exploring a city, or simply carrying a few extra things around your destination, it's one of those products that gives you a lot of flexibility without taking up much space in your luggage. And that's exactly why both of these products earned a spot in my travel setup. So that's it for today's video. And if you want to see another video filled with travel gear that I personally use all the time, you can check out the video right over here on the left. And if you're not subscribed yet, feel free to do that right over here on the right. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. And as always, safe travels, guys.